The India-Pakistan conflict. Okay. Google. India-Pakistan conflict. I don't know much about this other than they've been fighting for a long time, and supposedly both of them have nukes. That's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. Okay. India-Pakistan conflict. CFR.org. Council on Foreign Relations. Let's take a look. What do these guys look like? Industrial policy making a comeback. Timeline. U.S.-China relations through the years. Oh, okay. We don't know anything about this source, but fuck it. Let's read a little bit. With continued violence in Kashmir, pro media tip. Every single time you read about a place, look it up on a map. It's just good to know where places are, okay? Okay, here it is. See it on the map? That's good. Okay, see it? Right here. See it? Do you see it? Northeast of Pakistan, north of India, okay? Wow! Put it in your brain, okay? Continued violence in Kashmir. Okay, I actually don't. Let's read a little bit about Kashmir, because I don't know anything about this bullshit, okay? Kashmir is the northernmost geographical region, the Indian subcontinent. Until the mid-19th century, the term Kashmir denoted only the Kashmir Valley between the Great Himalayas and the Panjal Range. Today, the term encompasses a larger area that includes the Indian-administered territories, interesting, of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, the Pakistani-administered territories of Azad Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan, and the Chinese-administered territories of Aksai Chin and the Trans-Karakoram Tract. In the first millennium, the Kashmir region became an important center of Hinduism and later of Buddhism. Later still, in the 9th century, Kashmir Shaivism arose. And in 1339, way too long ago, no one cares. No one cares. Okay, there you go. All right. Contested territory, nobody cares. Or, well, no, we care, I'm sorry. Contested territory, nobody seems to know what's going on. Well, let's read. Okay. Conflict. What is the date of this article? This is last updated March 16th, 2011? Or 2021, I'm sorry. It must be for this tracker thing, though. Do we have a date? Guys, if you ever write for anything, please just date your shit. I don't know why anybody wouldn't just date their shit. There's no way that... oh, no, wait. This is a conflict tracker. Okay, wait. This must be up to date then. I'm going to assume this is up to date. It should be. That's how I'm reading this. Okay, with continued violence in Kashmir and a heightened threat of terrorist activity by Pakistani-based militant groups, tensions and concerns over a serious military confrontation between nuclear-armed neighbors, India and Pakistan, remain high. Okay, keywords. Pakistan-based militant groups. This could mean a lot of different things, okay? These are key terms that we look out for. What is a Pakistan-based militant group? Is that a group of innocent civilians that Pakistan sends arms to or food to in order to make sure that they're not being impoverished? Or is it some paramilitary group that represents Pakistani interests that terrorize the people of Kashmir in order to make them more amenable to Pakistani rule? Who knows? But just be aware of that, okay? We don't know what that means, okay? Just keep that in the back of your head, okay? Who knows, all right? Tensions and concerns over a serious military confrontation between nuclear-armed neighbors, India and Pakistan, remain high. In August of 2019, following a deployment of tens of thousands of additional troops and paramilitary forces to the region, the Indian government moved to revoke Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, removing the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. India-administered Kashmir remains under lockdown, with internet and phone services intermittently cut off and thousands of people detained. Now that's pretty spooky. Ooh, what is this site? Linking to external articles instead of all their own internal shit. I don't know if that matters or not, but personally, I like that. So, okay. The AP and Reuters usually do really good on-the-ground reporting, all right? India, troop buildup, tourist advisory, up Kashmir tension. Srinagar, India. Where the fuck is that? Is that I don't even know what this is. Is it the capital or some shit? I have no fucking idea. Is the largest city and summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, it is the capital of this region. Okay, here we go. It is the capital of the Jammu and Kashmir region, I think. Okay, right? It's the summer capital. Does that really mean what it sounds like? Does it change in the winter? Wait, what does summer capital mean? A summer capital is a city used as an administrative capital during extended periods of particularly hot weather. The term is mostly relevant in a historical context as political systems with ruling classes that would migrate to a summer capital, making them less prevalent in modern times. The ubiquity of air conditioning systems, interesting. What is the normal capital? Wait, it's Jammu and Kashmir is the territory, but the capital is just called Jammu? What the fuck? Yamu? How do you pronounce this? Hold on.
Jammu.
Jammu is the winter capital of the Indian Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. Is the headquarters and largest city in Jammu district of the Union Territory, lying on the banks of the river Tawi in the city of Jammu.
I have you up in the background while I am tech support.
Cool!
Customer got mad and asked for my name and told her I am the manager. After I said that, I immediately thought of you and when you used to work at the casino. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, buddy. Okay, so Srinagar is the summer capital. Where's Jammu at? Okay. Oh, down here. Okay. See it? Okay. Look, now we know where both these places are in the Jammu and Kashmir region, okay? Srinagar is to the north, Jammu is to the south. Okay. You have your brain put together? Okay. Government order of India administered Kashmir on Friday asked tourist and Hindu pilgrims visiting a Himalayan cave shrine to curtail their stay in the disputed territory, citing security concerns and intensifying tensions following India's announcement of sending more troops to the region. Kashmir's Home Secretary Shaleen Kabra said in the order that the pilgrims and tourists should curtail their stay in the Kashmir Valley immediately and take necessary measures to return as soon as possible. The order cited prevailing security situation and the latest intelligence inputs of terror threats with specific targeting. The annual Hindu pilgrimage as reasons for the advisory. The 45-day annual pilgrimage draws hundreds of thousands of people, blah, blah, blah. The order comes after officials on Thursday suspended the pilgrimage for 4 days due to bad weather along the route. The pilgrimage began on July 1st, and about 300,000 pilgrims have visited the icy cave so far this year, according to officials. In the past, dozens of pilgrims have been killed in attacks blamed on rebels. Jeez. However, whose rebels? Which rebels? Is that the Pakistani groups? Or the Pakistani-supported militant groups? Maybe not. However, hundreds of people have died due to exhaustion and exposure in harsh weather during arduous treks in the icy mountains. Muslim rebels fighting for decades against Indian rule in Kashmir accused India's Hindu majority of using the pilgrimage as a political project to bolster its claim in the contested region. The advisory is likely to escalate the tensions in the region, which has been on edge since last week when India announced it was deploying at least 10,000 more soldiers to one of the world's most militarized areas. The troop buildup has sparked fears that New Delhi is planning to scrap an Indian constitutional provision that disallows Indians from buying land in the Muslim-majority territory. Kashmir is divided between India and Pakistan, and each claim the divided Himalayan territory in its entirety. Rebels have been fighting Indian control since 1989. Most Kashmiris support the rebels' demand that the territory be united either under Pakistani rule or as an independent country, while also participating in civilian street protests against Indian control. Later Friday, residents in the region's main city in Srinagar and other towns thronged grocery stores and medical shops to stock up on essentials. They lined up at ATMs to take out money and at gas stations to fill their vehicles. Kashmir, a region known for lush green valleys, lakes, meadows, and dense forested mountains, has become notorious for long hauls of security lockdowns and crackdowns. Tourist operators called the advisory an attack on the Kashmir economy. The advisory is not about hundreds of thousands of Indian migrant laborers who earn their livelihood in Kashmir. It's about tourists who spend in Kashmir, said Sajjad Ahmed, a tourist operator. The Amarnath pilgrimage has already been suspended, and a handful of tourists are told to leave Kashmir. How else would you understand it? An Indian soldier was killed Friday during a gun battle with rebels in the region. The fighting erupted after police and soldiers cordoned off a village in southern Shopian area.
Stephen, but we need to talk about something important. You should be aware that donos are being heavily bullied by chat. It's not nice to spam askers when someone donates anything, even if it's clearly irony.
An Indian soldier was killed Friday fighting. Cordoned off in a village in southern Shopian area on a tip that militants were hiding there. Police said in the exchange of gunfire, at least one soldier was killed and another wounded. As the news of the counterinsurgency operation spread, anti-Indian protests and clashes broke out, with villagers trying to reach near the site of fighting and help the trapped militants to escape. At least 3 civilians were injured in the clashes with government forces, who fired shotgun pellets and tear gas to stop stone-throwing protesters from marching in the streets. Indian soldiers are ubiquitous in Kashmir, and residents make little secret of their fury at their presence in the Himalayan region. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, in its election manifesto earlier this year, promised to do away with special rights for the Kashmiris under India's constitution. A top security official said the entire security grid in Kashmir has been directed to be on alert as major policy revamp is in offing regarding Kashmir. We don't know exactly what it's about, but it's certainly some kind of decision which has far-reaching security implications, the official said, on condition of anonymity in keeping with department policy. Amar Abdullah, a top pro-India Kashmir leader who has criticized Modi government's muscular approach in Kashmir, said in a tweet Friday that the security alert, if actually issued, would be about something very different and not about removing special status. Ordinary Kashmiris fear that the already ongoing crackdown against anti-India dissenters will be intensified. The uncertainty makes the situation simply horrific and as frightening as it can be, said Javed Ahmed, a resident in Srinagar. People are dead worried about their lives and families. Sorry, that's not funny. Kashmir has seen renewed rebel attacks and repeated public protests against Indian rule in the last few years, as a new generation of Kashmiri rebels, especially in the southern parts of the region, has revived the militancy and challenged New Delhi's rule with guns and effective use of social media. Oh, this is what I was going to Google independently. So about 70,000 people have been killed in the uprising and ensuing Indian crackdown since 1989. 70,000 people. So Kashmiri and, how did you spell the other thing? Kashmiri, wait, hold on. Jammu and Kashmir population. What is the population of this region? It is 12.55 million. Okay, quite a few people. Lots of people live in this area of the world. Jesus. 70,000 dead.
Are you part Indian? You pronounced all those names so well.
Okay. So, which part is the contested territory, actually? Hold on. So, Jammu and Kashmir is owned by India, and then what? Is the northern part owned by Pakistan, or is that area in and of itself contested? Let's see.
Dear Mr. Destiny, I needed to let you know that RTBA is white bonus meme. RTBA has a small PP bonus meme ye one.
A union territory is an administrative division, the Republic of India, unlike the states of India, which other governments. Union territories are federal territories governed. Okay. Oh, okay. So the region of Jammu and Kashmir is separated by the line of control from the Pakistani-administered territories of Azad Kashmir and the Gilgit-Baltistan in the west and north, and then to the south and east. Wait. So Jammu and Kashmir are two. Hold on, I have to turn these off. 1 second.
What would
Okay, sorry. Let me just get an understanding of like what the fuck I'm looking at. So this whole region right here is contested, and India administers these two regions, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh, and Pakistan has these two regions here, the Azad Kashmir and the Gilgit-Baltistan. And then who has these northeast regions? Aksai Chin. Let's check. Aksai Chin. It's a region administered by China. It's part of its Xinjiang and Tibet autonomous regions. Okay, so probably both of these are probably Chinese. Okay, three-way battle royale in Tomato Town. Gotcha. Okay, sorry. Got all that out of the way. Okay. Okay, so for a quick tip, because I see people do this. If I read an article and I don't understand something in the article, or if I don't know where something is, or I don't understand the conflict, just open another tab and Google it or wiki it. For some reason, I watch people do this. People will read through articles and they won't understand something, but they'll say it and then they'll just keep reading. Don't do that. If you don't know what something is about, just look it up so that you have an idea of like what the article is about, and then you work your way through things. Hopefully, you understand them. Okay. Okay. So, starting back where we were at the very beginning. With continued violence in Kashmir and a heightened threat of terrorist activity by Pakistan-based militant groups, tensions and concerns over a serious military confrontation between nuclear-armed neighbors, India and Pakistan remain high. In August of 2019, following a deployment of tens of thousands of additional troops and paramilitary forces to the region, the Indian government moved to revoke Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, removing the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. So we read in here that Indian troops are being deployed in anticipation of a new order that might change things. So Article 370, was that about Indians being able to buy land in these areas? Let's find out. What was Article 370 about? Why is Kashmir controversial? Okay, so Kashmir is a Himalayan region that both India and Pakistan. Sometimes when you read articles, sometimes it's like, oh, well, we already know why it's controversial, so let's just skip it. Don't. Just read it again, okay? Because I'm not going to probably remember this 6 months from now if I don't do any more research on it. So just reading things over and over again helps to like cement them in your mind. Okay? Why is Kashmir controversial? Kashmir is a Himalayan region that both India and Pakistan say is fully theirs. The area was once a princely state called Jammu and Kashmir, but it joined India in 1947 soon after the subcontinent was divided up at the end of British rule. Those wacky Brits. India and Pakistan subsequently went to war over it, and each came to control different parts of the territory with a ceasefire line agreed. There has been violence in the Indian-administered side, the state of Jammu and Kashmir, for 30 years due to a separatist insurgency against Indian rule. What's happened now? In the first few days of August, there were signs of something afoot in Kashmir. Tens of thousands of additional Indian troops were deployed, a major Hindu pilgrimage was canceled, schools and colleges were shut, tourists were ordered to leave, telephone and internet services were suspended, and regional political leaders were placed under house arrest. So a lot of this we read in the AP article, right? But most of the speculation was that Article 35A of the Indian Constitution, which gave some special privileges to the people of the state, would be scrapped. The government then stunned everybody by saying it was revoking nearly all of Article 370, which 35A is part of and has been the basis of Kashmir's complex relationship with India for some 70 years. Okay, we get another map. So we see Srinagar here. We know that Jammu, the city, is down here. This is the Indian-administered Kashmir, or Jammu and Kashmir territory. Union state, I think is what they call it, or whatever. We know that Pakistan has their two things over here, right? And then we know that these two things to the northeast, even though I don't think it's fully shown, are owned by China, right? Okay, we've got summer capital, winter capital. All right, scrolling down. How significant is Article 370? The article allowed the state a certain amount of autonomy, its own constitution, a separate flag, and freedom to make laws. Foreign affairs, defense, and communications remained the preserve of the central government. As a result, Jammu and Kashmir could make its own rules relating to permanent residency, ownership of property, and fundamental rights. It could also bar Indians from outside the state from purchasing property or settling there. Okay, so this is kind of the thing that was hinted at the other article. Seems like that's what's happening, right? Maybe? The constitutional provision, or one of the things. The constitutional provision has underpinned India's often fraught relationship with Kashmir, the only Muslim-majority region to join India at partition. Why did the government do it? Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party, I don't know how to fucking pronounce this shit, had long opposed Article 370, and revoking it was in the party's 2019 election manifesto. They argued it needed to be scrapped to integrate Kashmir and put it in the same footing as the rest of India. After returning to power with a massive mandate in the April-May general elections, the government lost no time in acting on its pledge. So if we think a little bit, if we use our brains a little bit here, right, we can see the difficulty in this region. It seems like now, just from the very little I've read about this, because I don't know fuck all about this, right, it seems like the majority of India really wants Kashmir to join India. If these guys won their election and part of their election platform was nuking 370, it feels like, now I don't know, just from the little bit of reading we've done so far, feels like most of India is like, yo, that region should be ours. Let's fuck it. Now, it feels like the people in that region don't necessarily agree. If there is enough resistance in that region for 30 years of sustained fighting, and Pakistan is kind of like, lighting the fuse on the other side, it seems like, so we can kind of see the trouble, the boiling over here, right? Okay. Critics of Monday's move are linking it to, after returning to power with a massive mandate in the April-May general elections, the government lost no time to act on its pledge. Critics of Monday's move are linking it to the economic slowdown that India is currently facing. They say it provides a much-needed diversion for the government. Many Kashmiris believe that the BJP ultimately wants to change the demographic character of the Muslim-majority region by allowing non-Kashmiris to buy land there. That makes sense. That if you get more Indians buying land in that region, that there maybe tensions will slowly start to die down as you kind of like culturally genocide the Muslim majority population there. That's like a harsh way to say it, but like, right? Like this makes sense for why India would be trying to do that if they were bringing that region under control. And then it makes sense why the people in that region wouldn't want this to happen, because they're going to lose the character of those lands basically to Indians that are going to be moving and trying to, Although Home Minister Amit Shah's announcement in Parliament on Monday came as a surprise to most Indians, it would have taken the government some preparation to arrive at the decision. The move also fits in with Mr. Modi's desire to show that the BJP is tough on Kashmir and Pakistan. What's changed on the ground? Kashmir will no longer have a separate constitution, but will have to abide by the Indian constitution, much like any other state. All Indian laws will be automatically applicable to Kashmiris, and people from outside the state will be able to buy property there. The government says this will bring development to the region. I want to tell the people of Jammu and Kashmir what damage Article 370 and 35A did to the state, Mr. Shah told Parliament. Because of these sections, that democracy was never fully implemented, corruption increased in the state, and that no development could take place. So these are the areas. Okay. So when we talk about like good media sources and bad media sources, right? These are the areas. These are the areas where we would expect to see like some wiggle room for quote unquote propaganda, right? So the way that I would imagine it is the Indian government would probably try to sell this as saying like, well, look at how bad the region is. Like, look at all the violence. Like, look at all the fucked up shit going on here, right? If we make them a state of India, then we can bring them under our rule. We can like help them out economically. Like we can ensure a stable and non-corrupt democracy, right? That's going to be how India probably will sell this idea. Now, and the people in that region are going to say, well, hold on. Well, if India comes and they revoke 370 and 35A, basically they're just doing it because they want to slowly dilute the population that we have here that wants to be separate from India until there are so many Indians living here that we're indiscernible from a normal Indian state, and then they're going to fully integrate us and take us over, basically, right?